ongoing investigation into the circumstances leading to the tragic death of Nigeria singer Ilerioluwa Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad. A Lagos coroner court sitting in Ikorodu has summoned Aziz Fashola, popularly known as Naira Marley, Balogun Iletu, otherwise known as Sam Larry, and Owodunni Ibrahim, alias Primeboy, over the deaths of Mohbad. The coroner magistrate Adebayo Shotobi summoned the trio to appear before it on the 25th of October as part of the efforts to unravel the cause of the deaths of Mohbad and those culpable. Julie, this will stay with us for a long time, and it's like until they demystify the mystery behind the death of Mohbad, Nigerians won't rest. And the police, they are doing their own. Now, there's going to be a kind of coroner inquest proper in Ikorodu.
Yes, the coroner inquest is government mandated, and this is not the first time that we'll have this sort of thing. When the synagogue church of All Nations building gave way and killed more than 80 people, most of them South Africans. There was the Fashola administration decided to launch a coroner's inquest, so that they can do a thorough job and they will know who and who is to blame. At the end of the day, the coroner's inquest yielded the fact that the building had structural defects, and the engineers that got the contract to erect that structure were banned. The coroner dutifully directed that they be banned from the activities of Nigerian building engineers. So, although they later went to court, even the church sued. But the coroner's inquest showed clearly that, contrary to the ridiculous lie that
the plane was hovering,
that was hovering,
CCTV that leveled it.
At least we now know that it had nothing to do with an aircraft overhead and all that. So this one, the police, they are doing their work. The coroner is also doing his own work, and all the stakeholders are represented. Music makers have their own lawyers representing them in the coroner's court. The family of the deceased,
represented by
Fumi Falana, the brand new SCN, And so the whole idea is, let us know what happened. The police commissioner, Owonwa, who has just been promoted to the rank of AIG, has already hinted us as per what transpired. But that is not the end of the story, because the autopsy,
don't forget, the autopsy
is not out yet.
Yes.
The autopsy can yield something that we do not even expect. The autopsy can actually affirm that he was poisoned. Maybe he was given a lethal injection. Nobody knows. That's why in this situation, we just have to be patient to see what will come out of the investigations that are ongoing. And of course, remember, the police said they have evidence against Naira Marley for cyberbullying, Naira Marley and Sam Larry. Clearly from the videos out there of bullying and even physical assault.
Even a petition from Mohbad himself,
yes,
against Sam Larry and Mohbad.
That video in which he was bleeding on the neck in front of Naira Marley's house is a very damaging one. He has to show that he knew nothing about what transpired on the day that he was beaten and he was crying, and there were bruises on his body. He has to. Then, of course, his friend who fought with him 48 hours before his death is in detention. He has to also explain. So we just have to wait, you know. But as we go on, it is clear that the guy is a real star in death. You know, he sang a song in which he said, "Perhaps in death I'll be greater." He sang a song in which he said, so now we can see that in death is greater. He is the most streamed artist on YouTube between September 29 and October 5, with a cumulative view of 2.3 million.
A lot of money would have,
you know,
accrued.
No artist has outstreamed him on YouTube. Then he is also the 46th best-selling digital artist in the world. He's already overtaken some of the big artists that had been reigning before him. You know, 46th in the world, and you know what that means. Right? You know what that means. So this is a lot of money that will also come in. So that should actually trigger conversation as per how his family can be effectively taken care of from this money coming in the aftermath of his death. His wife has to be, and the son, and this has to be taken care of, especially now that the DNA has shown that Mohbad is the real owner. I mean, is the real father of his son, contrary to the nonsense that some people, very insensitive to be saying, oh, it is Larry.
Wife.
That kind of somebody going through all that agony, you are still trying to lie against her that she's guilty of infidelity. I mean, we've lost our conscience. A lot of us have no conscience anymore.
A lot of people were unfortunate in this incident, as in to have even, you know, take for example, the person that they asked to go and contact an auxiliary nurse. That one went to go. The first nurse that was contacted Mohbad's auxiliary nurse, she wasn't around. The friend now offered to contact another one. And meanwhile, I just saw a video of the mother of this nurse crying to Nigerians that please, so a lot of people, you know, that will be brought in as suspects and everything, and it's a long day for them.
Yeah, I think like BQ said, the major thing we are waiting for now is the autopsy.
Some are saying that it was flown abroad. I don't know.
It can be done here. It can be done here. We have very senior people, even in Lagos, who can do it. Yeah, pathologists, very senior ones. So I don't think that will be true. So, but like we said, that autopsy will determine a lot of things, because from the views we've expressed there and the facts on ground, and which even the CP in Lagos spoke about, there is no direct linkage of some of the actors who are in detention now to Mohbad's death. But when you do a coroner's inquest, you don't leave any side out. It's not like the normal court where lawyers come to plead certain facts and then the judge rules within those facts. This one will look at everything. And Nigerians are really looking forward to what will be unearthed. Hoping that nobody will enforce closed door behind the camera sitting. Let it be open to the media. Let the public see what because a lot of Nigerians are interested.
Yes. And
in these things.
Don't like bullies.
We really don't.
We're trying to bully somebody, and
we really
that's
don't.
why they stood up to.
Yeah.
That's the. Who is this?
You know, we do something in Nigeria that is commendable. We support the downtrodden. It's.
Sam Larry seems to be untouchable. They've seen his picture with the governor, seen his picture with big people. So as a result of that, a lot of people feel that, look,
why would you bully somebody who is trying to rise through you? Which is what we should encourage. Bring people up, train them, you know. And one of the reasons, like I I tell people we lose very strong hold on certain sectors is that those who have the know-how, they shield it. They don't bring people up. They don't train successors. They just want to hide the magic, the trick to those traits. This guy should have been here now to be doing a lot of things. Yeah. And like some have said, if it is true,
next year.
If it is true that this guy wrote most of the lyrics for Naira, Marley and some of these other guys, then let them go and wake him up to start writing for them again. Because that's what they should have encouraged. You know, it's what they should have encouraged.
Listen, that is talent. And
yes, let him grow.
I listened to Portable's latest, Alimi. That one has done over 1 million streams too. Ah. It was just abusing Sam Larry when the Sam Larrys of this world, this scene of this world. Portable is not sparing anybody.
You know, writing lyrics is one. It's even a job on its own. Writing lyrics, you just write and let people go and give it.
An extremely talented lyricist. I don't think that he is as good a singer as Zinoliski, who is also on Naira Marley's label. But Zinoliski does not have his lyrics. And it's deep. It's the kind of things that boy says. And he even also appears like a prophet.
His father said anything that happens to him, he used to use it to sing that he told him.
Yes.
He used to say all his experience.
And unfortunately, when he kept telling his dad what he was going through in the hands of Naira Marley and his people, and his father said, if you watch his interview with BBC Yoruba, he said he didn't know that Naira Marley was recording him. That he just went to him to say, look, this boy has come to me to say this is what he's going through. Please, forgive him. Forgive him. He came to plead like a good father. And they had him recorded. He said he was not expecting that they would go ahead and record him. He also made the phone call with the boy and also recorded himself. As if he knew a day like this could come. But the thing is, how do you defend carrying cutlasses, which was the point that I made.
Yeah. So he gave 2 million naira for a show. Where's the evidence?
It's not in your place to try to
often just
by
taking laws into your hand.
Take your law into your hand. It's not allowed. Whatever it is,
the law does not allow that.
Now, Davido took dollars from people and refused to play. You know, they can also take the law into their hands now. They can get thugs, they can get other people to go and embarrass you. But you run foul of the law if you do that. We can't resort to self-help in all matters.
If we all do it.
No? Yes.
It will be
in a state of nature. Anarchy. You know? They will be in a state of the Hobbesian state of nature. That's where we'll be. No law, no complete breakdown law and all
failed
that.
States.
You cannot justify that. You know? But then, let's see what will happen in the coming days. I'm anxious to see the result of the autopsy.
And
everybody is over.
Mystery. Yes, this mystery of the riddle, getting it over with. Yeah. And people that are not, this thing should be released, people that are culpable should be punished. Now, for a growing mega city like Lagos, constant vigilance by government is critical to ensure environmental sanity. The Lagos state government has embarked on demolition in the Lekki area. During the exercise, structures causing setbacks along the Ikota drainage channel were demolished after the owners were served contravention notices more than 2 decades ago. Let's share the story with you.
A few days ago, the Lagos Ministry of Environment began pulling down some structures along the drainage paths in Lekki. This is what is left of that area now. The demolition process is ongoing, and many of these valuable properties will not be spared. Understandably, residents here are not pleased with this decision.
We get 3 years to resolve it. I'm coming. Like the commissioner said, we have started. Government needs to respond to a total thing.
A similar situation is unfolding in Ikota and Victoria Garden City, where numerous structures have been marked for demolition. This is to ensure that water can flow freely and prevent flooding in these neighborhoods.
I can't compensate you for an illegality in the first place. You should even be compensating the government for letting me deploy taxpayers' resources to clear that part. And you listen to them. They agreed that yes, 3 years ago, it was not like this. But what were they doing? They went to sleep, they connived with those persons, and they closed up the channel deliberately. So now we have to open up the channel, allow the water to flow, and then we'll stop flooding of those 12 villages.
While the government is resolute in its mission, residents are urged to adhere to the state's rules to maintain a flood-free metropolis.
We can't be brazen in our illegality. It has to end. It's easier for people to blame government. How about what have we done on our part to save our environment? The environment is a master of man. You think you're cheating the environment, it's coming back to haunt you.
In the meantime, authorities say they will protect the drainage paths from encroachment, and any property built on water channels will be pulled down. Esther Mapariola, TVC News, Lagos.
Yes, Jude, it's projected that Lagos is one of the sinking cities. If you do your research, you discover that in the next 20, 30 years, that Lagos might be submerged with some other major cities, New York, California, and some other cities around the world. That because the topography, Lagos is below sea level. And when it rains, the only thing people do is to just come out to say government is not doing anything. Look at Fashola government, look at, what's the name, Sanwo-Olu's government, look at the whole Lagos state. It's flooded. Yeah. There are factors that contribute to this flooding. But our people, because of hypocrisy, because of the way we are, we've turned all available space in Lagos now to dump sites. We just refuse. Some people at night, in the middle of the night, you pass somewhere in the evening, in the morning when you get there, it just it has been turned.
Even when it is raining.
No, they use, they pour refuse into drainage channels.
Yeah, once it is
they
raining.
use it as their means of disposing their waste. They just pour.
And it's going to clog.
The canals are already clogged because waste, human waste, is going straight into the canals. So government has to then find a way to dredge those channels, those canals, so that water can move freely. When you are seeking approval, you must seek drainage approval along with other approvals. There ought to be setback. Look at, if we can show that video again, if we can go back a little bit, you see that the setbacks for the drainage channel, they built on the setback. You see? Look at that building. See the drainage channel. Look at the buildings already sitting on the setback. Yes. So there's no way that you will say you got approval to build, to do this on the setback of the drainage channel. How do you build even on drainage channel?
Because if a tractor is going to walk on that place now, if there is a need for a tractor, how does it go in?
I don't understand. So they've had to demolish buildings sitting on the setback of the drainage channel. So our people are I saw other videos on social media that tell the story a lot better. Some of them were unable to retrieve their things because you were warned repeatedly. You were warned repeatedly that they will come.
Notice.
Yes, they said for some of these people that at the foundation level, they had warned them
they don't continue with this
to stop further development, but they didn't listen. It's just like when they demolished those buildings in, I think, is it Okafa or that one in the airport area. People started saying all kinds of things. For years, they had been warned to leave the place. In Lagos, people want to build just everywhere.
Look at beautiful buildings. Look at You know, the millions, hundreds of millions that would be sunk.
Somebody told me that the developers, those developers, on a day like this, they just shut down their phones. So they couldn't, people who bought land from them could not reach them.
And they won't be able to again.
It's too late now. When the head is gone.
In this economy, to put together money to buy
only to lose. If you see some videos, you will weep for some of those people. You will pity them. You see some of the videos.
The government must act. Unless
no, the thing is, see, Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I remember interviewing along with my colleagues, and he said that, yes, there are some irresponsible people in the urban development ministry and all that, who gave approval even for skyscrapers to be built on drainage channel. They do that to civil servants. They give you approval to go and start work. So he didn't know what to do. He said, look, the cost of even removing a skyscraper is not cheap. When we wanted to remove the Bank of Industry building, it cost a lot of money.
Controlled demolition?
Yes.
Oh, no.
It cost a lot of money. So such buildings, what do you do? And on both sides, you have other buildings. So what he did was to look at that ministry. He fired some people there. Because, frankly, some people do not deserve to work there. It is in Lagos here that you see an individual who have a title deed to a plot of land, and that same plot of land will be allocated to 3 other people.
The big rackets.
That is where some of them make money.
Big rackets. That's
people make money in this way. They are not human beings again. Let's tell ourselves the truth. If you take approval, if you give approval for people to build skyscraper on drainage channel, was it not even suggested some time ago that even the Lagos Business School? I remember that issue came up, that it was also on drainage channel.
If we start, a lot of things will go down.
How many buildings are you going to remove? So if there are bad eggs in the ministry allowing this to happen, of course you have to send such people packing. I know that they don't have enough people to go around to stop people building here and there, but such people have themselves to blame.
Doctor, we are so selfish. We don't like ourselves. We are not patriotic to the extent that even if you go around Lagos, you know what they used to talk about, this power line, high tension power line, that no. Just go to the likes of Command, Meron, down to Alagbado, down.
It's virtually everywhere.
Beautiful buildings.
Virtually everywhere.
Under high tension wires.
Virtually everywhere.
People will sell it to them.
And some people will buy.
And
because
must you even live in that area?
When I was trying to get a place to buy, they took me close to a canal. And the person selling said, no, they are coming to cordon it off. They will do this, they will do. I said, but this is some meters away from the canal.
Good.
And I could see some people already building there. And I said to myself, no, you can't do this to me. Because even without the law being there, you will know that any day there is a storm, a major, you are going to be swept away. But people know these things, and then they keep praying. Based on what we have seen, after Afghanistan, Nigeria has been rated as the second most prayerful nation.
Yes.
But that prayer will not help you.
The prayer will just come back.
It won't help you because you are not doing what is right. Any prayer not backed by what is right is a useless prayer, no matter how hard you try. I'll take it from where BKO left it off. The governor or the government as a whole must pay particular attention to his own staff in all these control agencies relating to buildings and land. That is where we must start. There was a report that a group petitioned the Lagos State governor that some of those staff in LASPCA who were suspended for their role in the collapse building in Lekki Garden Estate, they are back to work.
They are back. So what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? This, and we don't even know what the outcome of your probe is till now. How do you allow such people into the system?
How did they even allow that building to
get up to that level? Because they knew.
There was a video that came out where they went to the place, they tried to enforce stop work order, and they were resisted.
Because
they continue. Because they have big people, in government and all that. They continue. Now the train collapsed and killed people.
Killed the owner.
He killed the owner.
Killed everybody.
Did we not even read of, I mean, some tough shots in these ministries getting involved in all these kickbacks? So that is where
that's why you see civil servants are multi-millionaires.
Of course.
Multi-millionaires.
They make money, and
if they investigate them thoroughly, whether in Abuja or Lagos, you see that some of the richest people in Nigeria
they are civil servants. That's why it's easy for them to be able to look at a minister or a commissioner and say, you can go to hell.
See, you can't operate without us.
Yes, because they are richer than
Look at the sense of entitlement.
The minister.
They are probably richer than him.
Yeah. So the government must watch this and tell them to sit up. It is not about having different agencies going to one building.
We always hear that anytime this happens, we always hear the governor will say, okay, the heads will roll this and that. We do not see evidence of heads rolling. Yes. If you cause heads to roll, let the world know that heads have rolled. That is how others will learn. That's how others will learn. But you just say it maybe just for the cameras, all these newspaper and TV people, let them find something to report. You just give them the soundbite, and nothing happens. Another one will happen again, and we'll go over it.
If you are caught in the traffic when it rains on the island or anywhere around the island, you will shake your head.
You know, I've always even suggested that.
So what is?
I've seen, there was a day it was raining, and I was somewhere, I think, is it the hotel or somewhere, and I looked at the drainage. The drainage was narrow, and not deep. I'm like, okay, if these drainage channels were constructed at a time when the population of Lagos was not really so much, the city is the fastest growing in West Africa, if not Africa at this time. So why not take a holistic look at the drainage architecture of Lagos and see what can be done? If you need to expand them so that they can take greater volume of water, you have to do that. You know, I'm not saying in every part of Lagos, at least in some of the places where we constantly have this problem. But you know what usually happens is, this year we battle the floods. We come up with a quick fix. We come up with remedial measures, and that is the end. The following year we are back to face it. And we must realize that, look, this is the season of global warming and the rest of that. So all of these problems won't go away. In fact, they will get worse. The global warming, climate change, and all that. We must have solid steps. We must take solid steps against possible natural disasters that can be traced to climate change. We have to, every country is devising what they call climate change action or something like that. What are we doing? If tomorrow now we experience the kind of flooding that happened last year, you see that it's the same states that faced it last time that will still go through the same.
About 20-something.
People will lose their belongings, farmlands will be washed away, and Nigerians will be in hunger.
This is what we experienced last year. All right. Okay. It's nationwide lamentation over postings of roads across the country. In a public outcry, road users called on the federal government to fix the Benin-Warri Expressway. They raised the concern after scores of people were killed and several vehicles burnt following a tanker explosion at the Koko Junction in Warri North local government area of Delta State. Let's share the updates on the state of the road by TVC News, Ikenna Amechi with you.
2 days after the fatal explosion that resulted in the loss of 5 lives here at the Koko Junction of the Benin-Warri Road, the burnt vehicles are still there, but the dead bodies have been evacuated. though traffic has been restored on the expressway, but the usual gridlock due to the deplorable condition of the road is still there. For these road users, the bad road is the reason the tanker fell, causing the explosion. They appealed to the federal government to urgently fix the road.
It's really alarming that the government is not even doing anything concerning this road. This road has been bad for like more than 5 years. It's been bad for like 5 years, and nothing has been done about it. And people are dying. Look at dead bodies all over the place. It's not nice. Like we have a lot of things going on in this country, but of course we are looking for just the basic things: road, good water, and of course electricity. If we can get these three things, we are not asking for too much.
I really want to appeal to the federal government, because this thing we are seeing here is not it. We have the resources to take care of all this challenge, but I don't know why they keep putting the masses in perpetual suffering. It's not really nice.
On October 18, 1998, a pipeline explosion occurred in Jesse community in Ethiopia west of Delta State. 1,082 lives were lost as they were busy scooping fuel when the incident happened. 25 years after, this incident happened, showing people are yet to learn that it is wrong to be scooping spilled petroleum products, which is highly corrosive and disastrous. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Koko, Delta State.
You know, the beauty of it is that the new minister, Dave Omar, he has gone from Abuja by road to Lagos. You know what normally happens? Like when the Zani went that time, she didn't believe what we go through, that human beings can be passing through this road, as if it's the country at war. So anytime they embark on journey like that, they get traumatized. That what? Because they've been avoiding that road for several years.
The story that he wept.
So you can never believe that Nigerians are passing through this hell. The level of infrastructural decay around the
roads. You know, maybe what the minister is planning now, if only we can give him all the support that he needs. He doesn't want a contractor to use laterite anymore. He believes that laterite gets easily washed away by storm waters. He doesn't want them to build roads with asphalt anymore. He's saying, look, our roads will be concrete will be built reinforced concrete, with reinforced concrete, which is, in his view, will last up to 50 years. And I can attest to the fact that when you're even traveling from Abuja, you are going to Kaba from Obajana. It is cement that was used to construct the roads, full concrete from Obajana to Kaba. It's full concrete, not asphalt, and it's still standing. It was Dangote that constructed it. He's also doing the same thing from Apapa.
Yes, Tinkan Island down to
Apapa.
You
can see in Bagada here.
Yes, Bagada here, yes.
Even a small portion of Lagos, Ojota Road is
concrete.
Reinforced concrete too, you know, because I saw them when they were putting the iron rods and all that.
Yes.
These guys.
The technology looks superb.
It's guaranteed to last. And according to the minister, it's even cheaper than asphalt. Yes, because, you know, they have to import this thing, asphalt. So, but already it's being resisted. But look at that road when they showed us that road. See the craters. It is those craters on the road that are making vehicles to fall. Look at where that one.
Most of the time, New Peng and Pengerson, this is what they see. Anytime they want to demand for strike.
They are losing money. They are losing. There was a time, you know, the road leading to the refinery in Port Harcourt. You know, they threatened that they would go on strike if they did not fix the road. These articulated vehicles, they are heavy. They damage our roads. Our roads are not designed to carry dead weight like these vehicles, and they can stay in one spot for days. So what, in my view, will help us achieve our aim of long-lasting roads is to have this reinforced concrete, use it for the construction of our highways, especially because when you look at Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, it's about 45,000 vehicles passing through it every day. How do you expect that the road will last? The only way the road will last is if the quality of the construction. I'm not saying that it's only concrete reinforcement that can give us good roads, but the attention that Lagos-Ibadan Expressway got from Julius Baja and RCC is not what you usually get with other roads.
No.
It's not.
No.
I look at even the tar. See how thick it was.
Yes, it was scripted.
They excavated the road before pouring cement and stone base.
And you could see the.
It's not all the time that they construct roads like that. So even the same Julius Baja constructed what's this other road? Abeokuta, Songo, Abeokuta road.
Yes.
And it failed. From the same Julius Baja. It failed because look at that road. Back then, they didn't do it well.
Total mess.
So maybe the cost, the cost is lower than this one. So I just hope that this is not even Ondo State going towards Ore. I say Ore, going towards Edo State is always hell for people using the road. I've seen even worse situations. People stuck on the road for days. In that.
Another bad one is from Ekiti State from Akure to Ekiti State. Disaster. Now, when you look at the state of roads and, I don't know where any government will start from because we've left a lot of things undone, years of neglect, years and years. I don't know.
I agree with
the funds are not there.
Yes, it's obvious now. If the funds are not there, I think the first thing we should start thinking about is the PPP as an alternative. I'm sure from what we have seen, including this image that we have watched, will make Nigerians have a change of heart about roads being told. Because we can't expect government to finance all these roads now, not even with where we are in the hole. That's one. I also agree with Umai. No contractor will be handling more than 2, 3, 4 roads maximum at a time. A lot of them bid for all the roads. And then they wait to finish one before moving to another, or they divide their equipment and take to another site, meaning that they are going to take longer time.
Any time that they are aware that minister is coming, or also National Assembly people
for oversize function
equipment from one site
to another.
To show
they don't have enough equipment. So they will just move the equipment. Once they've left, they will return it.
So it's good what the minister said. You can't have more than 2, 3 contracts. And then you must mobilize. We must it's advisable at this time. Let them give it to people who will do it and then pull it and specify with the number of years and back to the government if need be. But if we can sustain it on this PPP model forever, then we should. We should, because we go to other countries and we see that roads are improving, not that they are degenerating. So there must be a model that is working. Sometimes you get to some parts of this developed world and you see what we consider as very smooth roads being excavated. And they say it's because the time for it has come, for it to be resurfaced. So nobody waits until when you begin to see potholes. And then we also now need to work on our rail system. Most of the things that we see here, they are aberration. Tankers pulling, taking huge loads,
liters of
fuel, everything across the country.
That's right.
Traveling from
120
Lagos to Maiduguri with fuel. It's an aberration.
Even when we were young,
it's an aberration.
When we were growing up, trains were moving.
They were moving.
Yeah.
That's why I was happy when
a coach, just moving petrol. I used to see
and
them.
some other goods, but petrol. Like
today, trailers they've messed up our roads because.
So, if we take the weight off from these trailers, we take them off the road, we'll have roads that will last longer.
Okay, look at the example given to us by Lekki Express Road now. It was under PPP arrangement, concession and everything. Now, because of the NSAS problem and everything, they've left that road. Somebody showed me 2 weeks ago, I started seeing potholes. Ordinarily, it's a company that is meant to
go back,
fix it. Now, it's at the mercy of people. In the next how many years now, that road might collapse.
Oh, they are even fixing some portions of the road now, and Primeboy has been accused of doing construction work on both lanes at the same time. So people will leave their homes, going to work, they won't get to work until 11. Students going to school, they won't get to work to school until 11. You cannot close 2 lanes. You have to open 1 lane so that they can at least use that 1 lane. Why would you close 2 lanes? It's insensitive to do that.
At least you can even look at the direction in which traffic is heavier and go in the opposite direction to walk at the time and then switch back. It was done on Third Mainland. When people are going to work in the morning, at some time they will be walking on the side that is coming out of the island.
There's a bad
and then when they are going back, you
move it around. Island now, very bad portion.
Very bad.
Right.
From that portion, traffic stretches
generally,
as
Lagos,
far as
now, terrible roads.
Lagos.
Ogba. I didn't know. One day I wanted to beat traffic. I now decided to go to that market and go to that market. I said, I've not been here for a long time, so this is really
in front of that police station.
Craters. Craters in the heart of this town. No, it's just terrible. And when it rains, it's worse because you will not know the depth of the crater before you run into it.
Ogba bus stop. I remember. I forgot
it's still there.
The police station.
That's area G.
It's not possible.
Area G. Area G. The road is failing. It's almost cutting the road into 2. The way it is.
Just in front of NIJ.
Yes,
the
exactly.
baddest portion is right in front of Nigerian Institute of Journalism.
All right. For Nigerian politicians to be optimistic in any political situation is not a vice, but a virtue. The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, during the 2023 elections in Lagos State, Olajide Adediran, popularly known as Jandor, has said he has filed an appeal to challenge the judgment of the State Election Petition Tribunal, which upheld the re-election of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Adediran said he filed a 34th ground of appeal on the 13th of October to express dissatisfaction with the verdicts of the tribunal. Judy, this is very interesting. A trend in Nigeria, and that trend has come to Lagos now. Judy Adediran did not, it wasn't the runner-up in that election. It was the Labour Party. And Judy Adediran came out with less than 100,000 votes. But right now, he's saying that, look, he's going to claim his mandate, that he's confident that he will claim that mandate, that Lagosians voted for him.
The nation voted for him. With less than 100,000 votes.
63 or 62,000 completed votes from all the local government, being the worst results for the People's Democratic Party since 1999.
It shows where he stands amongst the candidates that the PDP have been fielding. I think that this year They literally didn't have a candidate.
It is this same Lagos that PDP
It has never been this bad for them. No.
Yes.
It has never been this bad for them. They used to have candidates that gave the APC, or ACN or AD a run for its money. But look at what we're saying. It shows that the PDP is literally dead in the state. It's literally dead. There was a time when some local governments, you could tell yourself that, oh, this is a PDP local government.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could tell yourself that, oh, even Badagry.
Yes.
There was a time they were very strong.
Yes, yes. You know? They were calling them Badagry.
Even Ekpe, they were very strong in Ekpe at some point.
Lekki Ajax.
Yes. So what do we have now? Not scoring up to 100,000 in an election where the winner got about 700,000. I mean, this is the definition of a rout. And if you are routed, why do you still think that you can win at the level of appeal? What are the facts that you want to bring this time? He is saying that Section 182 1J says no person shall be qualified for election to the office of governor of a state if he has presented a forged certificate to INEC.
Were you able to establish that at the tribunal?
How can he prove that Sanwo-Olu presented a forged certificate? That is the point.
It's easy to allege.
It's easy. He also says, oh, what happened is miscarriage of justice. So on the 13th of October, 18 days after that judgment, very extensive judgment, he's gone back to the appeal court. He's gone back to court to appeal, and he believes that he's going to win. But look at what the court said back then, that the matter was a pre-election issue that does not relate to the conduct of the 2023 governorship election in Lagos State, you know. And the judge even said that his petition is dead on arrival and deserves a befitting burial. That's how the judge said. Befitting burial for a petition that is dead on arrival. I think that Jando is just wasting his time. But this is right. Anyway, we have some money to pay the lawyers.
His lawyer will keep urging him on.
That's what the lawyers do.
Go to the court and they will end up at the
lawyer
Supreme Court.
said that tribunal judgment was a sound one. But he said he was going to wait on his client for further instructions.
So if he's sound and he cannot advance his money or say, no, I'm not.
But even the introduction he gave us shows where he's coming from. That they are always optimistic, politicians. Even when you know that that optimism is injure nothing.
It's just to draw attention to themselves, continue to enjoy, what's it called, media attention and all that. Just like Peter Obi. Peter Obi, for example, knows that if he stops challenging Asiwaju's electoral victory, for example, the hoopla, the noise that around him on social media will dissipate. And he's not prepared for that. He wants to continue to gain currency. Gain currency on social media. He wants to continue to energize his base. That base is important. So if he can, if he can continue to energize that base, he will be happy. That is his goal. Whatever it is, let us talk about that. Let people still see us as relevant. But how much longer are you going to do that? If our Jando, for example, and I'm still interested in politics, I will focus on how I can build my brand, make my brand bigger, stronger, and I will constitute a team to even do a post-mortem. Why did we do this badly as a party?
What went wrong?
What went wrong? What can we do?
Tell yourself the truth.
To have a, yes, look at yourself in the mirror, as I usually say, and let us see areas of improvement, areas that need improvement. That is how to bounce back from an electoral calamity.
Still young, so
you know?
can contest.
Because scoring just scoring less than 100,000 is the definition of electoral calamity.
I think he got it twisted when he went to go and choose Funke Akindele, thinking that the number of followers those ones have.
The number of followers doesn't translate to electoral
millions, 2.something million followers.
No, they will not vote for you.
TikTok and everything.
Those ones exist on social media. They don't see them on election day.
More so, when you probe some of these, like you see that even one man can have 100 accounts. One man can have 100 accounts. But I think where, for me, like BQ said, Jandor should take off from is to do a post-mortem and begin to reconcile with his party members. Like him or not, Chief Olabode George is a strong voice in the PDP. And he said it stridently from the day Jandor was announced as the candidate, that was not the decision of the party in Lagos State. He again went further after even saying, okay, we will accept this guy, to say, this is the person we have chosen as your running mate. And all of a sudden, when the man was going to announce his running mate, he named Funke Akindele. So it means that...
And that became his major undoing.
That was his major undoing.
Went for the election to do
so well. You have alienated yourself.
You have. That's what you have done. That's what you have done. Because politicians don't... For instance, look at the combination in the APC. Even for the first time. Nobody was expecting two strong men who could be governors in their own right.
Yes. And
for one to have accepted to be the running mate. Nobody expected. But it made political sense. It made political sense. So it's this optimism.
Two very strong candidates.
It's this optimism that kills our politicians. You have to sit down and look at what is right.
It's a very serious business.
When they tell you that, see, this permutation that you are doing, for instance, look at the national picture. Move the presidency to the south. Those of them who stayed in the north and said, this is where we are going, we have seen the outcome. But it sometimes makes political sense for you to say, okay, in order for us not to lose all, let us go with the tide. You were indeed not the choice candidate, and you then went on to choose your running mate, who is not also the choice candidate. How do you want to cope in that kind of water? It's virtually
impossible. So member of his own party must have voted.
They voted against him.
Yes.
Because the PDP has never been this weak.
This week.
I'm telling you, even the governor of Lagos State refused to stand on the same podium to debate with Jandor. We've not seen it that there won't be a standard debate, at least one or two. In time past, we used to see 3. Archbishop these people, they were organize debate and everything. Sanwo-Olu did not attend any debate with Jandor. And you imagine Femi Hamzat to coming together with Funke Akindele to swear out a lot of things. No.
It will be a joke.
It's a joke.
Joke taken too far.
So that's what Jandor needs to do now.
Terrible mismatch.
He should go back and think about it. Because before the election, people were asking, why didn't this man even try to go to the House of Assembly? Why didn't he even try to become a local government chairman?
Or House of Rep.
Maybe he thought local government chairman is beneath him.
But you must start from somewhere.
I think so. It has always been that governor, and the model was about abusing Bola Tinubu. Abusing Bola Tinubu.
He's still saying it that he represents a breath of fresh air. Yes. But that is if you get...
So all through his campaign, it was about abusing Bola Tinubu. That was his main campaign.
Even came here. He came to TVC. The same station that some people claim we do not bring opposition. He came on a program here. Yes, he came on a program here to attack Tinubu.
Yeah, on the live show.
And they will say, oh, yeah, they don't bring people. People don't know what they are saying.
A lot of times, you have to ignore comments like that.
You don't know what we go through sometimes. Back doors.
They don't know. You know, unfortunately, you know, somebody says something. Oh, TVC, they don't bring guests, and even NBC will now write a letter accusing us of what we did not do. And then I got a reply. I mean, I sent a reply to them, showing all the guests that we have brought on our shows, current affairs shows, from May last year. And they were clearly in overwhelming majority. Overwhelming majority. I just don't want to overflock it. I will have brought the list here for people, for the world to see. But, you know, you see some of Atiku's aides who have nothing serious to say after losing election. They too are saying that TVC, they don't balance. That same week that thing came out, you saw even the lawyer to the candidate of PDP in Plateau. He came. We have even House of Reps members. We have interviewed far more PDP House of Reps members than APC. People like Bagos, all of them.
At the expense of our job, I went to Adamawa. The way we stood with Governor Fintiri,
yes,
he's still looking for me now to say thank you. Fintiri, he's watching. The way we stood with him, a lot of people say, Binani has already read the vote of thanks on NTA. Yeah. But I came back, I told Nigerians that, no, there's nothing like that.
And really after that, listen, we were here on this show.
Yes,
we stand by the person who won. Yes. Because it was clear that that's the man that won.
It's not possible. Mathematically,
they think everybody is like them. For them, it is one track reasoning. It has to be Atiku or it has to be Obi. We are not like that. People will have been shocked that we refused to openly back Binani. Because that was the man that won the election. And it has nothing to do with, maybe they are his people. No. I don't even have his phone number. So, I mean, these things happen, but what can we do?
It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We take this breather. When we come back, we go to the next second half. Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back after this time out. Please stay with us.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Orientation. There's another one.
He is one of Nigeria's most charismatic and practical pastors whose teaching and opinions on national issues are instructive.
A leader is not even supposed to be trying to adapt to change. A leader actually is supposed to lead the change process.
Pastor Sam Adeyemi is the founder and senior pastor of Daystar Christian Center, Nigeria, one of the largest and fastest growing churches in Africa. A leading voice in preaching the principles of maximizing potential and engendering practical leadership, Pastor Adeyemi will speak live with Journalists Hangout. In the no-holds-barred interview, he will be speaking on issues like the national leadership question, nation building, Christianity in Nigeria, the place of tithing, and more. Join us on Journalists Hangout for the interview on Tuesday, 17th October 2023 by 5 p.m. only.
Yes, if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. This is Journalist Hangout on Sunday. I will tell you that I still have Babajide Kolade Otitoju in the studio and Dotun Oladipo here in the studio. When dealing with the kind of challenges facing Nigeria, experience counts in the struggle to find lasting solutions. A consolidated amendment bill seeking to allow the appointment of the Chief of Defense Staff from among the three service services of the Nigerian Armed Forces scaled through reading at the House of Representatives. The bill also aims to raise the retirement age of members of the armed forces from 60 to 65 and from 35 years to 40 years. So we have a story on that.
In terror attacks and other criminal acts in the country over the last decade has placed more burden on the nation's security forces. More heat is the nation's armed forces, whose personnel have been on the line of fire in safeguarding the country's territorial integrity.
The bill, or consolidated bill.
Nasarawa lawmaker Gaza Gbifi and 7 other members are the sponsors of the 2 bills which seek to impact the lives of armed forces personnel. The first bill seeks to raise the retirement age of personnel in the Nigerian armed forces from 60 to 65 years, while the years in service is proposed to move from 35 to 40 years.
HB 07 seeks to clear any unambiguity with regards to the appointment of 1, the Chief of Defense Staff, and number 2, service chiefs of the various arms of the armed forces. It equally aims to increase the retirement age for army officers, considering the amount of investment made into them, to 65 years and 40 years having been in the service.
Most significantly is the need to make ample use of the technical know-how of senior officers who are compulsorily retired due to the appointment of their subordinates as service chiefs. The bill proposes that they are engaged by the Chief of Defense Staff as senior technical consultants for the training of officers in Defense College, Armed Forces Staff College, and other related military institutions.
The second bill seeks to make it compulsory that retired army officers that are retired before their ages of mandatory retirement, in order to maintain institutional knowledge and to fully harness the investments that have been made into these military officers, that they become more of consultants and train the younger generations or younger crop of officers that are coming up behind them.
If the bill eventually becomes a law, it will exclude those retired as a result of disciplinary measures or on health grounds. Jokeyatsa, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, Judy, I think this is good.
Absolutely.
This is good. When you look at the training they go through, when you look at what it is to produce a general, it's not something that...
When you look at the age at which they retire, they usually retire at a time when they still have a lot
to offer.
You know? So I think that the people who brought this bill, former Deputy Speaker, Adogwa Blessing Ono Gochiri, Steve Fatoba, those who jointly sponsored the bill, I think they did the right thing. Because in our country, we don't have a system in which we can call up reservists in case of emergency. You've seen Israel do that during the Yom Kippur War, calling up almost 100,000 reservists at once during the Yom Kippur War. And again, the attack by Hamas, they've already called up hundreds of thousands of reservists, and they're already massing more than 375,000 troops are already set for a ground offensive in Gaza. We do not have that system, and we still have officers, retired army officers, who still have a lot to offer. I know someone, for example, who, based on politics, he was a colonel and he was kicked out of the army. When we speak, the ideas that he comes up with, I'm like, Nigerian army has lost someone. So there has to be a system that ensures that, one, they don't go at the time they go. Some of the people that we met when we went for the chief of I mean the Nigerian Army Day celebration in Owerri. Some of those officers that I sat with them, other they say who they were playing with me, they were already retired. And these are young people. People, great officers like General Ezugu, you know, who designed MRAP. He's retired. So you just have a situation in which once some service chiefs are appointed,
just wipe them off.
They just go. They could be in hundreds. They will just go like that. And they still have a lot to offer. That is the thing. The terminal age for a good number of them is Major General, Rear Admiral or something. You know? They are still, sometimes, even in their early 50s, they are gone. They are gone. So, as they said, when they appoint service chiefs, those who mandatorily are eased out of the force has to find a way to accommodate them so that they can spend. Because what I sense is that even if we say they can get up to 65 years or spend 40 years, appointment of service chiefs will still send them packing.
A lot of them away.
Once you appoint a service chief
from the rear
that is junior to the former service chief, all of the people are his seniors, except a few, have to go. He's the one who will choose maybe some of the people that he likes. Those ones who work with him, they will be in defense headquarters, they will give them, but generally, they always, all the seniors will go. We have to do something about that. And I agree that since they still have a lot to offer, they should allow them to work, to help train other officers. Because look, the cost of training a general, some of them are benefiting from foreign training.
Yeah, Sandos guys.
Yes. If we have to look at an Air Force officer, a pilot, for example, they go through tremendous training in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. There's a lot that they can offer people coming behind them. We just shouldn't dispense with these people like that. So I agree with this bill. I support this bill wholeheartedly, that they should move the retirement age to 65 years and years of service to 40 years.
Doctor, when you even look at some military general when you watch CNN or foreign news agencies and discover that in America, there's one general, you see a man with white hair.
Because they value knowledge and experience. And that's what we need. I think we have identified the major factors. One, the retirement age, and then two, appointment of service chiefs. I think a time will come in this country that succession as service chiefs will not be strictly by appointment again, by political office holders. Because that is what is missing. People want to see people who are loyal to them to be in charge. And that's still because of the African mentality or nature, where there is still this fear about the military.
It's all around Africa now.
About the military
at this time.
You know, so you want to be sure that this man, I can trust him not to do something that will be detrimental to my stay in office. But I think we are going to overcome it. It's just a matter of time. It shouldn't take us too long, because that affects us greatly. Once we overcome that and the succession is natural, the next person who is going to take office will know himself and be prepared for it. We'll be able to properly structure our military and then benefit from it. Because this idea of once you become a colonel, any other promotion is political, should go. It should be by merits and nothing else. We should ensure that merit runs throughout their stay in service. And not that once you become a commissioner of police, any other one will be by his own. You know, you must be able to represent a zone or a constituency. It shouldn't be so much of quota again. And that's because of our fears. You are leaving my people behind. My people, no AIG, no brigadier general. Everything is just based on quota. We are going to overcome that over time.
All right. In Zamfara State, northwest Nigeria, tackling insecurity ravaging the state remains a Herculean task. The state governor, Dauda Lawal, has insisted that he will not negotiate with bandits, stressing that he will fight them until they surrender. Reacting to a sermon by a popular scholar in the state, Sheikh Ahmed Kanuma, who advised the government to once again try the reconciliation process for peace to reign in the states. Governor Lawal maintained that there's no reason to reconcile with people that did not keep to their promises or value human lives. Jide, Zamfara State, this governor is saying that he's talking maybe from experience, and we say it here several times, with what Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari did, this risk he took and his SGF then, you know?
There's no, in fact, it's pointless even thinking about it. Thinking of negotiating with people who have shown a lack of seriousness to even abide by the terms of agreement.
Dishonest people.
They do not. All they're after is just to make money off our struggling people. So how do you expect a governor who has seen other governors negotiate without achieving anything? By nature, these criminals are in need for money. And anything that will stop them from making that money, they are going to resist. You remember what Rufai said, that a Fulani man who will trek from north to south to sell a cattle for only 250,000. He then
started getting.
He then he begins to run a group of bandits, and in one operation, he gets up to 100 million. How do you expect him to give that up and go back to
trekking,
to cattle rearing? Because the truth is, a good number of these boys who are bandits today used to have cattle of their own. Some of them were victims of cattle rustling, and they felt that, look, if you cannot beat them, join them. They too now became, if you listen to their story, that is what they will tell you. They were one time victims of cattle rustling, and they eventually had to join them since they couldn't beat them. If we look at what happened to Governor Aminu Bello Masari, 2 times he negotiated with bandits, gave them amnesty. 2 times the amnesty, they failed because they went back to kidnapping people.
They were giving up some of their arms and they were collecting money.
Yeah. See, they don't give all of what they have.
They won't even do it.
They will keep some of the weapons. They will just come and show you, and then you assume that, oh, these people, they've given up their weapons. No, they don't. So you have to do your best, defeat them militarily. If they say they want to give up arms, never believe them, because they will still go back to this thing. Even Bello 2G in the past, any time that it appears that the armed forces are bombarding them and they have nowhere to run to, that is when they will start saying, look, we are ready to
negotiate.
once you ease the pressure on them, they've forgotten that I do not believe, like the one who was given a traditional title the other day, Kachala. They negotiate with communities. They tell them, oh, we will not attack you if you pay us some amount of money and all that. How do we allow that to happen? I was reading today again that for the second time in 30 days, these guys have abducted the students of Federal University. Yeah. So, because we will pay them once they kidnap university students or women generally, we will pay ransom. They know that we will eventually have to pay ransom. And for that reason, those are the people that they go for. If they kidnap some bus travelers and all that, we are not likely to know them. But if it's a student, people or a core member, people will start talking. This the NYC people, they are making money off us. So I know that this sheikh must have said this out of frustration. It's difficult to watch people suffering in this manner from these guys, but I think Governor Lawal made sense. And Erufa has been warning that, look, never negotiate with these people because you will not achieve your aim. Forget it, you will not achieve your aim. And I believe that they have taught us enough lesson. Whether in Zamfara or Katsina, they've taught us enough lesson to not negotiate with them. Daudawa, who was involved in the kidnap of the government science secondary school, Kankara, in Katsina, he used the Quran to swear that he had given up banditry, that he will no longer be kidnapping people. When he became hungry, he returned to the bush. Unfortunately for him, a rival bandit group killed him. Buhari Daji was already, government even made Buhari Daji an aid, so to say. They made vehicles available to him. He said he will no longer. Buhari Daji returned to kidnapping people until Dogo Gide eventually took his life. So these are not people who will change.
They're not honorable people.
They will not change.
They will honor any
They will, after some time, they will go back to the bush. Where I've seen amnesty work is Kano. The bandits who used to be in Falgore Forest, the governor of Kano negotiated with them, and it worked. But you can't compare the level of banditry in Kano to what you have in Katsina, what you have in Niger, Kebbi, and other places.
And
Zamfara. So I don't think it makes sense to negotiate with these people. I agree with this governor.
Now, a lot of people will now say, so far, the military option does not seem to be yielding the desired fruits. But should you not think about other options?
Even the military has been talking of kinetic and non-kinetic approach. But like BKO said, it's a very dangerous one. He's listed some instances. And when you take your mind back to the Northeast where you still have elements of Boko Haram, when the government was still making the carrot and stick approach, it wasn't really working. Yes, even now, we have the bringing in of repentant Boko Haram fighters who have been accommodated into the society. But we've also seen that some of them have shown us that they are indeed not repentant, and they still go about killing people or returning to the trenches once they're able to find their bearing. So what it means is negotiation is not foolproof that these people will not return to their way of life. And the truth is, like Bikio said, once you have some level of money that gives you certain level of comfort and command, you don't want to lose it. And that is what is happening to them. If the governor calls them today and says, don't kidnap again, don't kill again, and they agree, can the governor afford to be giving them on regular basis
what they are making,
the kind of money that they make from taking ransom? It's a no. So, and since they are used to that kind of lifestyle, it's going to be tough. And then also, we cannot say that the military option is not working in its entirety. Because every 2 weeks, when the military comes in with its own briefing, we hear the number of people that they have dealt with countrywide. And that includes those who are in those states, Zamfara, Kebbi, Niger, Katsina, and Kaduna. So I think it's working. It's just that you can't, in one day, wipe all of them out. That's one. Number two is that the deployments, any of the assets that you deploy, be it human or material, they don't come cheap. They don't. The aircraft that the Nigerian Air Force makes use of, foiling them alone doesn't come cheap. Not to talk of the cost of purchasing them. We just delivered 4 more last week. According to the Chief of Air Staff, more will come. Those things...
Apart from the Super Tucanos that we have.
Yes, those things are not things that you just pick off the shelf. You need time to build them, and then the costs. And for Nigeria now, it's going to be, let's be careful. Don't let's rush things at all. Because the economy is bad. So you can't afford to put all your money, all your funds into fighting the battle now against these bandits and Boko Haram. So we should keep giving kudos to the military, because really, they are doing well at this time, really.
Okay, Julie, ultimately, when you want to look at how to resolve the issue of banditry and the expansion of that industry in the north, I think more thoughts and government will have to do some things drastic about it, because it's not about just killing them. The more you kill them, the more they recruit more people.
No, you can't kill all of them. It's impossible to wipe them up. You have to do something about our forests. There are some of these forests stretching from Nigeria out to Central African Republic. What do we do about those forests? Those forests, we left them unattended for so long, and these boys have turned them to their places of habitation. They understand the forest so much, you know. They can ride on a bike from Niger State all the way to Kebbi State. Those states are linked. They are linked to one another. They used to be even part of a single state in the early military era in our country. The old northwestern state was a very big state, and they've mastered the use. They've mastered the terrain. It's not all of that area that you can say that our armed forces understand. So they understand the forest, and they move easily within the forest, and they are constantly moving. The fact that they are constantly moving is one reason it's been difficult for us to exterminate them. You can imagine kidnapping people in Kebbi and telling their members of their family to come and receive them in Niger. That's what they did. So, and they always do that. Even the kids that were kidnapped in a place called Tegina in Niger State, those kids were eventually released. Those Molekeu, or what do you call it, Quranic school. they were eventually released in Kebbi State. So, and look, if you were to travel by road, it's very far. But it is those interconnected forests that they use. You know, Rugu forest and the rest of them. You are in this forest, you just see woodland stretching as far as the eyes can see. We left those forests for so long. A lot of them, as I said earlier, were cattle rearers, so they are used to. Even in the south, they understand your forest better than you do.
Because you don't go into the forest.
Why would you? They kidnapped one of my cousins somewhere in Ife, Niama. You know Ife now because you pass through the place when you visit. Came for our coronation. It's about 3 communities from Ekiti. And they moved from there, from the forest. They moved through the forest and ended up in Akoko Edo. So you can imagine, they went, got to Ajowa in Ondo State. From Ajowa, they moved into Akoko Edo, and that was where the person was received after payment of ransom. Can you imagine? It's a circuitous journey. So we have to sanitize those forests, sanitize in inverted comma. President Tinubu, in his manifesto, talked about, recruiting forest rangers. Okay. So those forest rangers will be able to secure those forests. So that's a plan. Another thing, some of those places, in some of the rural northern communities, you have to have government presence. The economic situation is so terrible that people will take any risk. And it's been easy for these boys to recruit those to work with them because they know people are poor. So they recruit people, stand by the roadside and give them information about vehicles passing and all that. So we need to improve the well-being of our people. Otherwise, whatever we do, these guys will continue to find cadres to use. They will continue to find idle people to recruit. Even women. The governor of Katsina told me that the rate at which women are entering banditry is a matter of concern. Women, they will now give information about fellow women. You just see that they will come and pick that person. So the military option is not sufficient. We have to take other steps.
All right. We'll take this break. When we come back for the last segment, we'll talk sports. We'll be right back after this time. This is Journalist Hangout on Sunday.
A deadly syndicate. An overdue vengeance. A sacrifice of blood. A coveted crown. Self-proclaimed king.
Our planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
Ignorance is the mother of personal destruction, a voluntary misfortune, and it is worse when you are ignorant of your ignorance.
You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye is brought to you by Dr. Civil Life Foundation as he uncovers the mystery behind most deadly diseases, their causes, prevention, and latest treatment. Send in your comment and health-related questions. Together, let's liberate Africa from health ignorance.
Hear this, you are ignorantly awaiting the arrival of your wife's menopause. If you have low sperm count and ignore it.
Join Dr. Richard Okoye every Sunday by 3:30 p.m.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teacher.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Yes, let's talk sport now. About, the business aspect of it. Nigeria is one of the few countries in Africa that does not invest in sports for profits. According to the report, poor funding and low investment rob the country of 500 billion naira revenue annually, while countries like South Africa and Morocco bid to host competitions to gain profits. Nigeria is the only country in recent times to have spent more than it earned in hosting international events. I have sport journalists with us. Joining us, Stanley Ikau. Thank you for joining us.
Well, good afternoon.
We're not serious about doing business when it comes to sports, the way we look at it. And they're talking about the Olympics they're talking about World Cup, the centenary of the World Cup now, that Morocco and 3 other countries that are going to be hosting and everything. They asked somebody, a former Super Eagles player, and said, when can we bid for the World Cup? And the person was saying that maybe in the next 40 years.
Now, I think the first question should be, how ready have we always been? Let's even look at the competitions we've hosted in this country. We hosted, let's start from the Youth Kedan in 1999.
Nigeria 99.
We also want to look at our level of transparency and accountability as a person or as a people. Now, we hosted Koja 2003. We won, Egypt came second. The former vice president, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, was the DG of the Presidential Committee for All African Games. The DG then of the Nigerian Television Authority, person of Bemure, Bruce, had issues. Why? Because the man asked the chairman or the DG of the Presidential Committee of the All African Games, Oga, these are the equipment you guys said you're going to provide. You guys didn't provide it. And at the end of the day, because you spoke to your superior, that virtually burnt him and, of course, threw him out of office. I think it's a rot in the system that has caused this whole thing. Now, another thing is, I ask you and Jide, can you invest your money in the Nigerian league? Now, the reasons are not far-fetched.
Stable.
You look at a league where you are not guaranteed that if you invest 10,000 naira, you will make 10,100. You look at also clubs or club owners that are trying as much as possible to invest and make ends meet. Let's look at Remo Stars. Before Remo Stars, there was Gabros. These guys came with a whole lot of ideas. Let's build the league. Let's see how we can transform things. But there are some forces. I'm sorry to say this. I don't know if the politics in politics is more than the politics in football. It's more overwhelming in football because you see things from the outside, you'll be like, oh, let me just say it because I'm from the outside. If you get inside, you know it's a different ballgame entirely. Now, the point is, do we have that enabling environment for sports to thrive? Let's even don't let me start from football. Let's start from athletics. In the last couple of years, it's been one doping case to the other. Tobiloba Musong, Blessing Okagbare, now Divine Oborodudu. 6 years, 11 years respectively. Nigeria is a country on the A list of countries that dopes, and yet we've paid lip services to this whole issue. Now, this brings me to the point. How ready are we? We don't have the facilities. There are things we pay lip services to. Let's look at the tracks and the Titans at the National Stadium in Surrey. So many years of abandonment, our national edifice. 50 billion was put to put that stadium in Abuja together. Koja 2003 till today, nobody's talking about how much we made. The fire equipment they bought, over 2 billion. Now those equipment are worth 8 billion naira. They are still parked at the Park B of the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja. Now, when you put all these permutations together, even the system itself is not even helping matters. Let's look at all our previous ministers, from Solomon Dalong to Bolaji Ojoba to the previous minister, Sunday Dare. The list is endless. Each of them will come and say, we'll do this, we'll fix this. Yes, because we want to hear things that will change the narrative. You don't come and say, we'll just continue. No government will tell you, I want to continue. No. At least, you must continue. At least there's a good step in the right direction. Then you continue from there. But I make bold to ask this question. How many of our former sports ministers have laid a good foundation for others to follow? The answer is no. Solomon Dalong came. The only thing he was able to achieve as a sports minister was the swimming pool at the National Stadium in Surrey. Till date, nobody is using that swimming pool. Look at the Basketball Federation. In-house fighting. In-house fighting. Till today, I have...
Chairman.
You understand? I have asked one of the members to come for my program, and he has declined me several times. And I'm like, Oga, why? He said he doesn't want to talk about the NDBF. Why? Because there's a president who doesn't want this person to be there. And the president had issues with the sports minister before. But because of the love of the game, they had to resolve it. We don't have a league until this recently, where the ladies are beginning to do well in the, what's it called, the Zona qualifier, the Savannah Conference, and you understand. So, in all of this, first, I think, good thing we have a president that listens. And I feel now that we have a sports minister, who I also do think that he should surround himself. You don't necessarily need to know everything about a particular sector, but surround yourself with people that understand. You understand? Technocrats. The owner of Sporting Lagos has invested very well. Let's even look at the value of our league. Now, let me come back to football now. They said the national team is a reflection of the league. But look at our national teams. Or look at our leagues. We keep relying on players of foreign descent to come play for Nigeria. We have quality in the Nigerian Premier Football League. But the truth is this. How many of these players will get looking? Why? Because every foreign player that comes into the national team, the biggest investors want to invest in the foreign players. Now, what happens to the ones that are in the league? Now there's Sporting Lagos. Before now, there was MFM. Well run.
I was surprised to do
that. Wait, I'm going there. Well run, well managed until one or two internal crises happened, and now the team was disbanded and handed it over to the original owner. Now there's Sporting Lagos, a club that understands the business angle of football.
Managed by Godwin Enakana,
God bless you,
that did MFM.
Now, there's a Remo Stars, owned by Honorable Kunle Solomon.
Yes.
Now, I think gradually, maybe we are beginning to see a bit of light that seems to be shining. But my brother, there are some powers that be that will not make all these guys, no matter the idea they bring into the picture. I ask you this question. No disrespect. All our ex-internationals, I've always been of the opinion that they should take up administrative duties and roles. But someone said something that he would rather watch the EPL than watch the NPFL. And it was this same NPFL that produced this man in 1990. I'm talking about Austin J.J. Okocha. If the league had not given him an opportunity to showcase himself, I'm sure the world would not have known who J.J. Okocha is or was. So I think it's a function of, one, creating an enabling environment. Let our facilities be there. We don't have a standard facility that can host any international competition. I mean, across board. We played the playoffs, the pre-Olympic playoffs with the Tigers. Not at the stadium, at a hotel. That tells you how disappointing, how embarrassing it can be.
It's not, the biggest problem in my view is our inability to keep those equipment, those
facilities.
Yes, maintain those facilities, because Nigeria 99 was here. I watched Nigeria 99. I was in the stadium here to watch. I was in Kano, in Kofamata to watch. Yeah. After that, we've seen terrible decline of that facilities. Because if the National Stadium was like this at that time, nobody would have allowed you to host. They allowed us to host after checking the stadiums that will host those games and certifying them to be good enough. We should have built on that.
I'm telling you.
We should have built on that. South Africa too. I went to South Africa after they hosted the World Cup.
In 2010.
I observed that even some of the stadiums had begun to deteriorate. In fact, I did a small story about the Calabar Stadium. I entered some of the dressing room. Some of the showers were already bad. And at the time I went there, it was just like 1.5 years after the World Cup. You know, a lot of the facilities that they used were actually being used for rugby. They had to
convert it.
Yes, convert them for football, because they weren't a big footballing nation. But in our own case, once we host that tournament, go back maybe a year after to go and look at what you find there. This national stadium that hosted so many big football matches, look at what we have turned it to. You can't believe that that's it. And it didn't take so long before it degenerated.
At all.
It didn't take so long.
Not even up to 2 years.
Yes, that's the point. And I'm like, this stadium, after all the money that we spent, we just left it. So it's such a terrible thing. When you were talking about whether I will agree to host, to invest in Nigerian football, I remember that even Globalcom, you know,
sponsored the league for some years.
I remember we used to have mobile athletics championship. Because of lack of transparency, we frustrated these people. They are no longer interested in hosting.
And that's the reason why I asked if the politics in politics is more than the politics in football.
Or the greed in politics.
Okay, the greed in politics.
Yeah, because greed is, you have to put greed in the mix.
Because, like I said, the Nigeria 99 under 20 games World Cup we organized. How much was made? How much was declared as our profits? Let's even just put aside, okay, we renovated the state, we renovated our match venues and all of that. FIFA organizes this competition to improve age-grade football in these countries. But because we understand just one thing, how to cheat very well.
Yes.
We take, like, someone like Ayo can even play under 20. If you go shave his
head. Allow him.
Is that?
If we allow him.
That's but we must face reality. First, on the part of the government, we keep talking about creating that enabling environment for this sport to thrive. Yes, you do your part. And I'll say this for a fact. Lagos State government cannot do it alone. We have some facilities. For example, at the Road Park.
You know my fear, sorry to cut in. I've been to Ikene.
Yeah.
I've seen what
Remo Stars.
Come on, you would think you are
in Europe.
The hostel, everything. I went into the kitchen where they cook for the players. You see what this guy, the kind of money, and there's an hotel already attached to.
It's not all clubs that have access to that.
If they frustrate the guy, honestly, it will be a tragedy for Nigeria.
I'm telling you.
Because what you have there is a world-class facility that he has put on the ground. There is a field for training. There's the one where they play matches. You know, all of that. Carefully, there's a gym.
That's
all
around.
It's as simple as that.
Somebody was telling me that it's only Godswill Akpabio Stadium that has the international pitch that is approved.
And that's because the same company that that constructed that stadium is the same company that's maintaining it.
Oh, they have a maintenance.
I cannot give Jide a contract and say, Ayo, help me maintain it. You don't know or have an idea how Jide constructed the stadium. And I'm giving you the contract. Why not give the same company that to maintain it? It's a 10-year contract.
How did we get to a situation in which churches were allowed
to be hosting their
national stadium, stand on the turf, on the grass,
and destroy it? I remember that time now. National stadium, they were always...
I think we must understand that the only way to put all this to rest is for us to begin to understand that football is a big business globally. The EPL in 2020 and 2021 made over $5 billion and 12% more in the 2021-2022 season. And that tells you a country. Tell me what major natural resources does the UK have? They only know how to promote their league.
Human resources.
My brother, it's as simple as that. They know, invest in this. And it's sad also that, I'm sorry to say this, there are some key people that should not be running our food. So there are some people, I beg your pardon, that should not be running some key areas in our sports. When we say put square pegs in square holes, it's not like you need to go bring one messiah. No. Okay, you're there. Make sure this sector works. And that's why I believe in this administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am very sure that whether we like it or not, at least a sector, at least, if not like 4 or 5 sectors of the country's economy, would last, and of course, we would, at the end of the day, look back and say, yes, this sector has done well. And until we realize that sport can affect this country's economic GDP, maybe then we realize, let's invest more.
And for one, sport is standing alone now.
You understand? So the Ministry of Youth is different from the Ministry of Sport. So both ministries now would work together. Okay, if it is, okay, let's just even imagine this is the case. The Ministry of Youth and Sport were together before. One person controlling these 2 ministries. Okay, I can oversee this, I can oversee that. This time around, the Minister of Sport will have to call the Minister of Youth. Baba, bros, Oga, let's see how we can work together and prove, because you would agree with me that the youth of today are taken to more of drugs than even sports.
Because even the recreational centers that we built for them, we turned them to something else.
So there's so much.
Even when we were growing up, table tennis looked like the sport of Lagos. Every part of Lagos, you see people playing table tennis. And there were many talents that were coming up. Today is no longer the case.
You're even going too far. Our first major focus in sports back then was boxing. Our first major glory as a country was brought to us through boxing.
Yes.
Today, where's boxing?
It's the national. We had the Eagle Belt Championship, sponsored by National Oil in those days.
I saw a video of Ogambasi some time ago, and I wept. We keep celebrating Anthony Joshua, bro. Whether we like it or not, yes, it's a boxer of a Nigerian descent, no doubt about that. But truly, and true, was he nurtured in this country? No. He didn't represent Nigeria. He represented the UK in 2012, and he won gold.
If he had remained here, he wouldn't have.
So, Tobiloba Amuson, the lady that is under investigation by the AIU, was frustrated. And someone just looked at her and said, young lady, can you do long jump? And she said, yes. Today, she's a hero in long jump. Same thing as Chioma Ajunwa. She was on the verge of giving up.
Yes.
Not until someone looked at her and said, young lady, you understand? So the list is endless. So we must understand that first, at the top, you understand, this was and still remains our first Olympic gold medal. But someone almost frustrated this woman out of the sport completely. Same thing as Oduwayade Koroye. So I think we must consider the bigger picture and the profit.
Yeah, I was thinking that for people like Ade Koroye and the rest of them, that there will be some companies adopting them,
mentoring them,
and taking care of their needs, ensuring the way the Americans do.
Yeah.
So that
I think Solidarity tried in that.
Somebody told me that Toby Amusion, because that she's doing too many races and all that. And the Americans, what they do is they take good care of you, they adopt you, so that you don't have to be involved in so many races that make you burn out before competitions. You know? So we need to do a lot more of that. And female football,
Yeah.
Do we have any sponsor for the league, or is the league even on?
The league is on. They don't have a sponsor.
Wow.
They don't have a sponsor. Now, something happened before the commencement of the Nigerian Premier Football League. I have never heard anywhere where a league body will sign a 10-year contract with a company. The least I've heard is 4-5 years upon review. Now, they signed a 10-year contract, fine and good. You've given them, what's it called now, 10 million naira each to start up the league, 200 million naira to share. The winner will go 150 million naira, 10 million naira better of, 150 million naira, 12% better of what the previous winner won last season. Yeah. Good development. But my point is, why sign a 10-year contract? What if another company wants to come invest?
They will give a better deal. And
a better offer. What happens? Then the infighting starts and continues. There's a Daniel Amoka. That's why I keep lamenting, and I'm sad that we have ex-internationals who don't speak out.
Yeah, but they've been frustrated. Look at even when Odegbami was
vying to become NFF president.
They hate him so much. Odegbami was one of the executives of Shooting Stars in those days. They fought him out of the system. They do not. They didn't want him to contest
NFF chairmanship several times.
That was even long after. I mean, he was I think welfare officer of Shooting Stars. They fought Odegbami out of that position as welfare officer of Shooting Stars. You see him ask him. I remember. We were growing up then. So they don't even want to see some of these ex-stars. They don't want them. They don't want people who have knowledge of the issues. They don't. And we are going down in sports because we are not doing things the right way. When we were growing up, I was talking about athletics clubs. Yeah. We used to have athletics clubs.
You remember now, the only place we are doing well is patriotic Nigerians schooling abroad. Yeah. For basketball, male, female, coming together to come and represent their fatherland.
Even the ones we are doing where we have athletes or participants in this country is the Paralympics. How well are these guys being funded?
And they always win medals for us.
We go to the Olympics, we go to the Paralympics. These guys are major focus going to any major championship. But when they go, they come back. Someone said they go, they win, and they come back with the spirit of the game. Maybe just
the officials who collect code and all that.
And you ask yourself, the welfare package. You see, when you talk about poor funding, I think poor funding has to do with the rot in the system.
I don't even know our new sport minister.
There is a lot of work to do.
To be done.
A lot of work.
Honestly speaking, and I just hope President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would, because there are so many things the man.
Thank you. Stanley Ikau, sport journalist.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for your intervention.
Always a pleasure.
The maestro himself.
I'm sure we will have to come back and talk about this a lot more.
Honestly.
If we want the government to succeed, we have to tell them what.
Yes, that's what listen. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another regular episode of the program by 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Usubaku. Bye for now, and see you tomorrow.
Politics is defined as getting what, where, when, and how. But in the mix, many things come to play to shape the political fortune of any country.
Honorable Minister, the public.
From the political actors to the electorate, campaign to voting, from debates to policy decisions, big events happen to engage us in constant conversation.
That's what we're looking for. Not some people who are talking about ethnicity. No.
Who is on your mind?
Don't worry.
Join me every day on Politics Tonight, where we dissect issues that shape our political destiny. Politics Tonight, weekdays